I'm trying to see if I'm recording because I'm set up crazy here today, babies. I am at a crazy spot. This behind me is Mobile, Alabama Bay, and this is a really cool ship because, you know, history is my favorite subject. MIMZIE may teach science, but MIMZIE loves her some history. So behind me is the USS United States. They just brought this ship down here from Philadelphia, and right now they're taking it apart and they're going to go sink it off the coast of Florida, and it's going to be like a reef for all the fishies and fun things to live in. Like we watched on TV in Nemo, there's the boat in the bottom and the sharks were trying. Anyway, I digress. But I was going to read you this book today. This one's the USS Alabama. Okay, this and this are not the same ships. I just thought this would be a fun book to read in front of an old ship. Now this one's USS Alabama, and it says, "Hooray for the Mighty A." Now I've never read this book. You know, MIMZIE doesn't pre-read her books. I just had to go find this book so I could come read it here because I thought that would be a special thing. Now, whenever your daddy was a little boy, he got to go visit this ship that I'm going to read about today. It's parked down farther that way. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started the book because it's fixed to rain on MIMZIE. It's a miserly day. So boom, boom, boom. I think I can do better than that. Boom, boom, boom. The big guns on the deck of the mighty battleship fired into the night. Gotta be careful, make sure you can see all my pretty pictures. Boom, boom, boom. The blasts were so strong, they lit up the sky like the 4th of July. Ooh, that's exciting. Unless you're Charlie. Charlie doesn't like all that. Boom, boom, boom. Heavy artillery reached its target 20 miles across the ocean. The USS Alabama successfully completed her mission. 20 miles? I didn't know they could shoot that far across the ocean. See, I have already learned something today. But your daddy probably knew that. The guns came to rest, but there was still work for the crew to do. From the bridge, the captain's voice rang out, "Now hear this, now hear this." And he ordered the sailors to prepare to get underway. That means to leave, I think. Ship propellers as big as trucks began to churn below the water surface, and the great battleship started a new course. My phone is tied to a fence with some red caution tape, and I'm right next to a no trespassing sign, so I really got to get careful. And people are pulling up and they're watching. All right, let's go on this side. The final battle of the USS Alabama took place on 17 July 1945 during World War II. The fine battleship steamed across the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, earning 9 battle stars. That's a big deal. The ship kept her crew safe during many battles and never suffered significant damage because of enemy fire. Sailors and Marines called her the Mighty A. That is a nice memory for that ship. Let's look at our picture. Look inside. They are very busy inside. I wish we could get a feel for that. For more than 3 years, 2,500 men called the USS Alabama home. She was a floating city where sailors worked, slept, ate, and played. Bunks were stacked 5 high to give every man a place to sleep. 5 high? That's like a bunk bed with 5 rows. The ship was so big, she housed a barber shop, that's where you get your hair cut, a dentist office, and even a jail cell. See the sailors cooking? I think they're cooking. Maybe they're folding clothes, but I think they're cooking. Every morning they're cooking. Silly me. Every morning the cooks in the galley made 320 gallons of coffee and baked 550 loaves of bread. For a treat, the men visited I'm going to just do my best guess, the Gadunk stand for candy, a cold soda, or a scoop of freshly made ice cream. Ooh, I do like some freshly made ice cream. And if you're going to put some little M&Ms in it, let's look at the pictures really well before I read. This is a fun book. For fun and exercise, the crew had boxing matches. I don't want to fight anybody for fun, but I guess it's fun for a lot of people. Volleyball was played on deck using any object that the sailors could hit that would not bounce overboard. So they played volleyball with just about any old thing. But I guess it would kind of ruin your game if it bounced overboard. In the ship's library, sailors checked out books to read and received mail from home. At night, movies were shown on deck, or the ship's band entertained the crew. Well, that sounds like a good time. I mean, if you're stuck on a ship at sea, you've got entertainment. The sailors on the Mighty A worked hard, but they had a lot of fun too. I wonder if we ask them if they would tell us they also had a lot of fun. I know a lot of sailors. I will be asking. That's the ship. That's the ship across the way. Remember, that's not this ship. After World War II ended in 1945, many battleships were no longer needed. The once powerful vessels were towed to the Navy Yard, where they sat empty and silent. Some of the ships were sold for salvage, then chopped up, melted down, and used to make household items like razor blades. Can you imagine shaving your face with a piece of history? Crazy balls. The USS Alabama sat in the Washington State Navy Yard for 15 years awaiting her fate. Then officials deciding that the battleship had finished her work defending our country. In 1962, officials gave the order to dismantle and scrap the Mighty A. The people of Alabama did not want the majestic battleship that had been named for their state to be destroyed. They made plans to collect money and buy the ship. To raise enough money, all of the citizens had to do their part, even the children. So even you guys, even children your age, helped save that big ship. When they heard about the USS Alabama, school children wanted to help and join the efforts to save the battleship all across the state, from Huntsville to Mobile. In every town in between, children brought pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters to school. They worked to make money to rescue the battleship. That is so cool that they all participated with that. Children gave up treats and donated their allowance to preserve the battleship. Instead of buying ice cream at school, they donated their snack money to the effort. Some boys and girls did extra chores to raise money. Others collected empty cola bottles and returned them to stores for the 2-cent deposit. Oh, I remember collecting bottles and taking them to the store for a whole dime. And if it was the big glass bottles, you could get a quarter. But that's been a long time. We don't see bottles in glass anymore. That's back when you got glass bottles. Their sacrifice and hard work paid off. In just 1 year, school children, this is children going to school, they contribute almost $100,000. And back that long ago, that was probably like $1 million. The money they earned and donated helped bring the USS Alabama home. The next challenge was moving the mighty ship. So they had to get it from A to B. For her final voyage, the USS Alabama was towed from the Navy Yard to the Panama Canal. There she squeezed through the locks with only 11 inches to spare on each side. 11 inches, that's like that big on each side. Oh my goodness. Oh, it makes my heart beat. After a 3-month voyage, the battleship appeared in Mobile Bay. On 14th of September 1964, she arrived to a hero's welcome as people stood along the shoreline cheering, "Hooray for the Mighty A!" That was like 5 years before I was even born. Once the USS Alabama was safely berthed, that means parked, in Mobile Bay, the school children were invited to visit. Because they helped save the ship, the children were given passes for free admission. They dashed from bow to stern and eagerly explored the ship's deck. The USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park opened to all visitors in January of 1965. That's where I went and bought this book a while ago. I went and bought this book just so I could come over here and read this. And why did I not read this book in front of this battleship? Because we can go visit that battleship anytime. This ship, it's going to be gone before long. It's going to be at the bottom of the ocean for all the little fishies to swim in, and we will not be able to visit this one. Today, the USS Alabama is the most visible symbol of her namesake. More than 15 million visitors from around the world have stood on her decks. Thousands of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts have spent a night on board. That would be a good time. Can you imagine going to spend the night on a big ship? Military veterans gather on the ship for reunions. Hooray for the mighty A. Everyone feels honored to be in the presence of the great ship. But perhaps the proudest visitors of all are the school children who made it possible to bring the USS Alabama home. Today they bring their own children and even their grandchildren to visit the battleship and share the story of how they saved the mighty A. That's really cool. I mean, going back to visit with your family, that's really exciting. And here's a page with vocabulary words, kind of pointing out where the different things are on the boat. That's really exciting. Well, I hope you enjoyed this time through history. Now remember, these are not the same boats. This boat is just not going to be here very long. And I'm just really excited to see it. But y'all have a great day. And you know what? MIMZIE loves you.